Good evening. 10:30 late night show tonight. What's going on? Jacob in the house. Jacob Israel, that is my name. You are new to the channel. Please hit the subscribe button. You're going to want to stick around. You're going to want to see what I talk about each and every week. Today we are talking about something very, very, very important. It's something that's been sticking in my craw, and I don't mean the infection that's been in my jaw. Let me say hi to all of you. Hello! Hope we got a good stream going. Hope you can all hear me okay. As always, in the chat room, if you do not mind, just say, Jacob, I can hear you good. It's good to go. So I don't have to stress about anything. If the music's a little too loud, let me know. I got my chamomile tea because this is not normal for me. The Dan, she's in the background pretending to be asleep, but she's listening in. She's probably in the chat. Everybody go say hi to her. My tea's a little hot, so I brought my almond milk. I'm going to cool it down. I was going to come out here with a little cool little thing, where you put the creamer in, make it look all special and all. But I'm not a one percenter. I'm not those wealthy people. Wealthy people that we're going to be talking about today that aren't paying any tax. Trying to get I'm not that great with Twitter. If you guys are, if you're on Twitter, there's a link below. I promise I'm going to get better once I get a lot more Twitter followers. Do me a favor and follow me if you're on Twitter and say, hey, I'll follow you back, I guess. That's what you're supposed to do, right? But there's been a Twitter war going on between Fox News host Tucker Carlson, who the Dan and I, true story, my 20th anniversary for high school. He was at the bar downstairs, like the Hyatt. It was this big fancy schmancy hotel in Greenwich, Connecticut. And at the end of the reunion, the Dan and I were having a cocktail or two. Hers was non-alcoholic, mine wasn't. We were staying at the hotel. We were having some fun. And Tucker was there with his bow tie. Remember he used to wear the bow tie? Well, I'm sad to say that I think that he's considering himself to be a little more than he should. The way he treated this historian should really upset a lot of us, especially in, as they say, the truth community and the people that are trying to expose those that are in charge. Because this guy at Davos, he laid the smackdown. And I got to give this guy a lot of credit. And he was picking up some steam, and a lot of people were excited about this guy online. And so Tucker was going to interview him. And interview him he did. Let's come over to the chat room before I get into the show because I have some stuff that just came up. That's why I came on here. Been thinking about this show for at least almost 2 days. Because I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say about Amazon. I got a lot to say about Netflix. I got a lot to say tonight. So I hope you're buckled up. All right, say hi to everybody in the chat. Jacob, will you? All right, I'm on it. Joseph Moon, hello. Oy vey, he says, I hear you. Juanita, hello to you. Pyramid 7. Joe Decker, hi. I am grateful that you got notified, Vahid M. And he's going to be back later for the upload. That's right. If you can't stay for the live stream, catch the upload. I try to make these shows as precise and as good as I can, especially when I'm live. As it is, I like to jibber jabber. You can hear me okay? I'm assuming by now someone would have said something. Corsaro is just too tired. But the Gnostic syncretist is saying Jacob with like 80 B's. Hello, Gnostic. James seeks the truth. Question everything. Peace to you as well, brother. Okay, can I get back to the show now? I've said hi to everybody. Let's get back to the show. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this guy at Davos. I'm going to pull this up. And the music, I'm going to lower the music down a little bit here so we can see. And, oh God, I'm up too late. You're right, Corsaro. I'm up late, brother. I'm up late. Okay, so this is what Rutger Bregman, he is a historian. And I got to tell you, I really liked the things that he was saying with Tucker. Now I got to give Tucker a little bit of leniency here. The dude came on with an agenda. You know, he knew that he had Fox News by the tail, so he had somebody recording the interview as it was going because he knew that he was going to come at Tucker hard, and he knew that Tucker is probably going to blow up at him, which is exactly what he did. And he got really, I mean, I got to tell you something. Listen, you're in the media. You know that cameras are on you. Do me a favor. Don't swear. Don't act like you're so great that you could just talk to people, human beings, like they're trash, Tucker. All right? All right? You seemed like a nice guy when I met you. It was a while ago. All right, now let's listen to what he says. Now, he's going there.
First time at Davos.
And this is a big deal. Let's see if I can get the music up all the way so you can hear this.
I mean, 1,500.
I'm going to pause this for 1 second. Let me just get the music. Now, I'm not used to doing all this. This is fair use, by the way, YouTube. If you're listening, algorithm, this is fair use. Make sure that I am transitioned over. All right, listen.
First time at Davos, and I find it quite a bewildering experience, to be honest. I mean, 1,500 private jets have flown in here to hear Sir David Attenborough speak about, you know, how we're wrecking the planet. And I mean, I hear people talk in the language of participation and justice and equality and transparency. But then, I mean, almost no one raises the real issue of tax avoidance, right? And of the rich just not paying their fair share. I mean, it feels like I'm at a firefighters conference.
Amen. That's all I got to say.
And no one's allowed to speak about water. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean, we can talk for a very long time about all these stupid philanthropy schemes. We can invite Bono once more, but come on, we got to be talking about taxes. Yeah, exactly. That's it. Taxes, taxes, taxes. All the rest is bullshit, in my opinion.
I actually came because I do believe we have a...
Now, I love this dude right here. You got to pay attention to him. Ken Goldman, former Yahoo CFO, chief finance. So now he's up there. But you know, what do they do? They're always like, oh, yeah, well, we don't pay taxes, but people have jobs. We give them the jobs. Now, you listen to the way this other panelist answers. It's beautiful. I don't know if you've heard this, but it is beautiful. And it is really sad that today in our country that people are working in those kind of environments for so very little. Even at my firm right now, you know what's going down? They're looking to bring in a bunch of part-time people. And why? Because they don't have to pay them as much. So this whole thing about everybody has a job, the job market's been, you know what they're doing? They're hiring part-time labor. Don't got to give them the insurance. Don't have to pay them, you know, the real wage. So really, no one's really making a fair living today. And it's about time that we speak up. By the end of the show, you're going to probably be righteously angry. And I hope that you share the video around. All right, listen to Ken Goldman give his whole little speech, trying to make it look like, yeah, they're doing good things for the world at Yahoo.
An issue here. But I have to say, honestly, this is a very one-sided panel. You know, frankly, what people really want is a dignity of a job. I'd like for the panel to talk about beyond taxes, which every one of you have talked about. The only thing you've talked about in this whole panel on inequality, what can we really do to help solve inequality over time beyond taxes?
Let me tell you something. We're talking about jobs, but
I just want to say the smackdown is about to begin. That's all I got to say about Winnie here. All right? You go, Winnie. Listen to her.
Quality of those jobs with poultry workers in the richest country in the world, the United States. Dolores, one woman we work with there, told us that she and her co-workers have to wear diapers to work because they are not allowed toilet breaks. This is in the richest country in the world. So don't tell me about low levels of unemployment. You're counting the wrong things. You're not counting dignity of people. You're counting exploited people.
I want to...
And that's all I got to really say about that. Let me transition over to you again. Hello. So, this historian goes to Davos and he's like, hey, you're all talking about climate change. Well, how many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of gallons of petroleum was used for, so your little private jets could get here, right? You could all see the Jurassic Park dude talking to you, right? David Attenborough. Yeah. That lends a lot of credibility. Bring an actor. Well, our government's all good with that, right? How many actors are in charge? I got to tell you, listen, You can't let this world fool you. It's it's not really out for the little guy. There's been a steady decline of the middle class. There's been a steady aim of those that are in charge to basically make things harder. So the fact that this dude gets on Fox News and starts talking, more people have to know about this. But before we get into that, let me tell you something, all right? Because tax season's up, right? Everybody's ready for the tax season. I'm ready for the tax season. I got my receipts. Hope all of you got your receipts. You know, you better get somebody that knows how to work the system. And I mean in the right way, because I don't believe that you should be doing anything wrong. I know a lot of the people that are in charge do. That doesn't mean that it's right for us. But there's a lot that you're owed. You don't know about a lot of stuff, and a lot of people aren't just told that there are simple things that you can do. There's a lot of stuff that you can write off. There's a lot of stuff that you can get back, right? Well, the people that are in charge, right? They don't have to worry about taxes at all. Look at this monstrosity. Amazon. Amazon will pay a whopping $0 in taxes this year on 11.2 billion profit. Zero. Goose egg. Nothing. That means every single one of you listening, as well as me and the Dan and my children, they're going to pay a lot more than Amazon. That ain't right. That ain't right at all. Those wondering how many zeros Amazon, which is valued, by the way, at nearly 800 billion. You could get all of us together, and there are a lot of people watching right now. You get all of us together, and we ain't going to even come close to that. They're worth about 800 billion, and they pay nothing. That means that we have to pay more. Not to mention, they don't pay us much. If you know anything about Amazon workers, right? A lot of them have to have second and third jobs. All of these big companies coming down saying, "Oh, well, we're going to give $2 billion and we're going to help with poverty, and we're going to send some money into the schools," which is what Homeboy's saying he's doing, right? You know, none of that's going nowhere. Taking a look at this. It's unbelievable to me. Unbelievable to me. Oh, by the way, thank you in the top chat. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mel. Wow, look at you. Oh my goodness, I didn't even see. Oh, Gnostic Secret. Oh, you all are sending money here. Okay, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I did not expect that. Everybody, I am going to, by the end, I'm going to make sure I go through here and say hello and thank you to Jake Carter, the Gnostic Synchronist, Mel, and of course, Sarah Wood. Thank you all for your support. I gotta pay tax on that, just so you know. And YouTube gets their cut. That doesn't mean you should stop doing it, because I do appreciate it. Every little bit helps. Let's take a look at this. Those wondering how many zeros, right? Okay, well, according to a report published by the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy Wednesday, that's this Wednesday, I believe, the retail, tech, entertainment, everything giant will pay a cent in federal tax for the second year in a row. That's disgraceful. Tucker Carlson swearing and dropping bombs on a guy who knows that this system isn't going to allow someone like Tucker to get angry about the fact that people who can't afford to pay their rent, because they have to rent, right? Because they couldn't afford their house, because they lost their house, because their mortgage turned backwards on them. That's why we're talking about this. That's why this show needs to be heard. This tax break comes even though Amazon almost doubled its profits from 5.6 billion to 11.2 in 1 year. To top it off, Amazon actually reported 129 million in federal income tax rebate. So not only did they not pay tax, they got money back from the government. Now, what's up with that? Can anybody in the chat room tell me what's up with that? Can anybody tell me why I'm saying things like, what's up with that? This is what happens way after my bedtime. But it's been, I'm upset with this. Because I'm getting all my receipts ready and I'm getting everything together, and it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming. Well, you know who else? You know who else doesn't pay any tax? Let's take a look at this guy. Yeah, you guessed it, Netflix. Big goose egg there, too. Big goose egg there, too. Nothing. How much money? How much money is Netflix? How many gabillions of dollars does Netflix bring in for all those streaming videos that get you binge watching, right? Not just that, but then get you spending hours on end trying to find something to watch. Popular video streaming service Netflix posted its largest ever U.S. profit in 2018. $845 million. On which they pay nothing. They pay nothing. I mean, come on. In fact, here's the second part. It's going to get you angry. The company reported a $22 million tax rebate. They're not paying tax, and yet the government is giving them millions and millions and millions. And we're sitting here and we're talking about the Mandela effect, huh? Right? This stuff is important. I try to make light of these things, but it does get me righteously angry. Righteously angry so much that I've been thinking about it. It's time to come on. It's time to speak my mind. It's time to be a voice for the voiceless, right? Everybody hear me okay? Can I just blow out your speaker? After a year of speculation and spin, the public is getting the first hard look at how corporate tax changes under the tax cuts, which guess who gave us the tax cuts, right? They're really good for us, right? Right? Before it went live, I did a show on it. Tax scam, check it out. I know a lot of you are supporters of Trump. I'm not dogging Trump. I'm just saying, don't think that anybody who's supposed to be in charge is in charge. That's why this historian, he called Tucker on exactly what he is. But a very good puppet, a very good sock puppet. Tucker's very interesting. I like Tucker. He's got a great personality. Man, he's great to debate with. Sometimes it seems like he's just a big bully. He was 100% a bully in this one. Now, that being said, this historian, he was baiting him, that's for sure. But let's get into this, okay? So we know, it's not just that. It's Google, too. I think I pulled something up with Google. I don't know if I have it here or not. Let me see. Google's another one. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. They get a tax rebate, though. That's the best part, right? Right? Netflix earning report is an indication. Nothing's changed. Many corporations are still able to exploit these loopholes and avoid paying the statutory tax rate. Only now the rate is substantially lower. So they weren't paying anyway, but now it's just a lot lower if they decide to pay. Because probably now's the time when videos like this take off and people start saying, that's it, they need to pay. And you need to lower our taxes. I know that the tax code was just changed, but a lot of you don't know this. Those tax cuts, which I know are helping a lot of people. Do you know that they end? They're only around for a little while. And when they end, you're going to be paying more. I don't know if you knew this, unless somebody else comes along and changes the tax code. But do you think that we're going to get a candidate that's going to do this for us? Do you think they're going to allow a candidate that's going to be for the people? Right now, there's so much censorship going online, it's hard to even get a grassroots campaign of anything going, right? So have somebody going to come out of the woodwork who actually cares, who wants to do the right thing, change the tax plan. Those tax cuts, they end. Now, you may not know this, but they do. And I'm glad that they're helping people. I'm glad they're helping. They're not helping me. They're hurting a lot of people, especially here in New York. But it is what it is, right? Doesn't matter. Amazon's not paying anything. Netflix ain't paying nothing. Google barely paying a thing. I think nothing. In fact, and they're getting money back. Give us hundreds of millions of dollars because we give people jobs. Now, Amazon was supposed to be in Strong Island. I think down in Long Island City, right outside, I think, Queens area. And their bid fell through. And a lot of people were like, oh, it would have given us all jobs. It would have given you part-time jobs where you wouldn't have got paid much. Anybody in the Amazon business working at the factory, that's great if you're getting paid well. In the chat, please do me a favor. Tell everybody if you're getting treated fairly, or if you're a cog, or if you have to have another job. It's time for us to make our voices heard. Now this guy, this unlikely hero, you heard what he said at Davos. Should I play that again? I'm going to play that again in a second for those of you that are new to the live stream right now. But because of what happened at Davos, Tucker has him on, and he wants to talk about him. He wants to give him the hero, the hero speech. Fox News host Tucker Carlson, he ended up screaming at this guy, swearing at this guy, hanging up on the guy. The video went nowhere. The historian figured it out, figured that it would happen anyway. He had his cameraman on standby, recording the whole thing. Let's get into this a little bit, okay? This is from People. I think this was just posted. Tucker Carlson ridiculed effing annoying guest who said the Murdochs dictated his content. No, I'm sure Rupert's not like in his ear, right? But when you got President Trump saying, yeah, I think Hannity's great, I think Carlson is great. I mean, that's to have the president, I wouldn't mind the president say Jacob Israels was pretty great. Jacob's pretty great, But that may taint my reporting a little bit. I doubt it. It's not going to taint mine. I've told people in charge many times when I worked for that huge network, I told them flat out, you're all in trouble if you don't do the right thing, using God's name and doing this and doing that. Oh God. And they didn't like that. But you know what? When you tell the truth, there's not much people can do. You got to share. But I'm not here to expose anybody. I'm just here to report on this nonsense. Because he did really just take a look at this. So Fox News host Tucker Carlson, I don't know, in the chat, you tell me, has anybody seen this? Has anybody actually seen the kitty meow? Thank you very much. I appreciate the support. Anybody see this viral video? I see a lot of people talking about the IRS. Cato Ninetail says, IRS owes me so much money, obviously they don't care. But I guarantee if I owe them any money, they would have found me and harassed me. And it would have never ended. Yeah, I don't know if a lot of you even know this. Let me come back over here. I don't know if you know this, but we're not supposed to have our wages taxed either. That's unconstitutional. We're not supposed to. The IRS and all this, these are big time, they're big machines that are in charge and they're bullies. And we saw just how many years ago? The Tea Party, right? The IRS was like literally targeting the Tea people. You don't think that if there's somebody online that's creating a little bit of noise on YouTube, you don't think that they may be, the IRS may put their, put the grinds to them a little bit? Make sure they're doing everything on the up and up. That's why, if you do everything on the up and up, you sleep well. You put your head on your pillow at night and you don't worry. You do your job right. You don't steal. You're kind-hearted. You don't break the law. You can live in this world, but not be of this world. But if you're not operating, if you're trying to get ahead and you're scamming the system, see, it's like it's almost a big game and it's a big test. And I don't think you all realize it just because they're corrupt. But if you're corrupt too, you can't be. That's why you got to do the up and the up thing. You got to be on the level. You got to do your best. All right, let's get back into this. So what I'm basically saying is I pay my taxes the right way. I do it on time, and I have everything itemized, and I save every single receipt. Annette's my CPA. She's awesome, and it's a kind of a goof because I go in with all my receipts in these little little plastic bags, these little Ziploc bags, and I have them all set out. And every year I put them in a big box, and all the boxes here. So if anything ever came down, and this is because I educated myself. I didn't know how to do this. You know how many times I went to the, you pay $30 or whatever, and they're like 8 accountants sitting there, and they look like they've been smoking and drinking coffee all night, right? They look miserable. Think they're going to get you the best break. Save money during the year. I know it's hard. Save money for it. Get a good accountant, all right? Because there's a lot of things, the rules are the rules. All right, back to Tucker. I'm sorry. Fox News host Tucker Carlson went viral on Twitter this week thanks to a segment cut from his show in which he cursed at a guest. In their interview, it descended into an argument, but that's not really true. It didn't descend into an argument. Tucker just got upset, and he continued to get upset. He didn't like it. Video of one half of the February 11th interview was initially leaked to the news organization Now This. That's where I first saw it. Shared it on social media this week. As of Thursday afternoon, the clip has been seen more than 8.5 million times. The interview with Dutch historian and author Rutger Bregman was conducted remotely and not in the studio. Bregman shared video of his portion of the interview with Now This. It recorded footage of Bregman in his remote location as well as Carlson speaking to him. And oh boy, and Carlson knew after he said it, it was like immediately there must have been a little like, uh-oh, you did it. You listened to that negative voice. You listened to that little lie in your head. And you treated him like he was a peon, like he was somehow beneath you. Even though, if you take a second, Tucker, you know he's telling the truth. You know he's telling the truth. Now, that being said, Bregman over here, Mr. I'm going to expose the elite, right? He should have did it the way he did it at Davos. Instead of being all clever and like setting him up and just continuing to go at him. It's not Tucker's fault that the guy's a millionaire. You're a millionaire working for billionaires, the guy said. There's nothing wrong with Tucker being a millionaire. If he pays his tax, right? What's wrong with him getting paid? An ox is worthy of his hire. I wouldn't mind being a millionaire. I'm sure I'd use my money a little differently than he does. But he does kind of have to go and play ball. He can't, the industry is not where you could just be a real news organization. I think Tucker knows this. I think he wants to be a good reporter. I think he wants to make a difference. He was a nice guy when I had this conversation with him. He was bright and had ambition, right? Wanted to change the world. Well, what world are you changing now, Tucker? When you blow up and then you don't air the interview. Now, I'm hoping that enough of this stuff gets steam that the interview is finally aired and they just bleep it out. Tucker took a little responsibility, not much, to him, basically swearing at him and treating him like he was inhuman and beneath him. I tell you, it really is something else when we have stuff like this, and it is news. Let me. I don't want to play the Fox interview because you could find it. I'll link it later, if not tonight, tomorrow. But let me read some of this stuff, okay? So Bregman said, almost all the pundits on this channel for years have been against higher taxes, right? Of course, he's being very sarcastic because he knows darn well that nobody is against higher taxes on the rich. You kind of talk about it over there at Fox News, but nobody's doing nothing about it. Nobody's getting down Bezos and saying, do you think that your company, how many people, can't afford their rent, right? How many people got to work 2 and 3 jobs? You think it's fair? No. Tucker, you're friends with Trump, right? Hannity, you know Trump, right? Why don't you tell Trump, we're coming. You want to win again, Trump? 2 years in a row, right? Two terms. Tax the rich. And I'm not talking about the rich. Have Amazon pay their share. Have Netflix pay their share. Have Google and Facebook and Twitter. Have them pay their share. Stop with the censorship already. Carlson could be heard stammering because, of course, that's his thing. He likes to stammer. It'd be interesting about how many hours of Fox you watched, right? As if that this guy's never watched Fox before because he doesn't have access to the internet, which is pretty funny. The host then directed the conversation back to tax avoidance. Now, Tucker, in his defense, the dude was giving him a platform. You blew it. You blew it, dude. You blew it because you wanted to be like Mr. Crusader. And you took your ego and you threw it at a man who has an ego just as big as yours, and you wonder why the only airtime that you're getting right now is just leaked viral videos. But the truth and what you supposedly are all about, where's that? Where's the conversation about that? I think it's being missed. Don't you think, Mr. Historian? Doesn't history prove that people with a cause that are more about themselves than the cause are just as guilty as those that are in charge, not helping a darn thing. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm not right. The host then directed the conversation back to avoidance. Bregman finished with his critique of Fox News. He accused Carlson of being a millionaire funded by billionaires and part of the problem. Now, the part of the problem thing, yeah, I'll go with that. Even though I like Tucker Carlson, even though I gotta tell you, even though I know it's fake news, Fox, CNN, it's all fake news. I know it's fake news. I still watch it. Because they got to cover something, right? They got to cover something. It's a scary day we're in right now. I have a show that's coming out probably Sunday on AI. It's a big one. And I had a little audio issue. I'm a little upset about that. It's not going to be as loud as it normally is, but it'll be fine. It'll be fine. The Dan, I played it for her. She goes, it's fine. You worry too much. You worry too much. You just got to relax. So I try to calm down for the Dan. Dude, because I love her so much. She's the best. Let's get back to this. By the way, if you're new to the channel, the Dan is my wife, Danielle. Okay? And hit the subscribe button. Like, comment, share, do what you got to do. He says you're part of the problem, arguing that all the anchors on Fox News are millionaires because they don't broach certain topics. Now, would you in the chat room agree? Do you think that that's a fair estimation? Let me come on over here and say hi to everybody. Would you say that that's a fair estimation? Do you think? Really? I mean, do you think? You think they're part of the problem? You think Fox is on our side? Fox Maven says, oh, you already know, Jacob. I do know. You're right. You're right. Bart, you are my friend, buddy. Bart's over there, and I believe Bart, you're in the Netherlands, right? Am I correct? Yes, it is a fair estimation. Thank you. I wonder, Bart, tell everybody in the chat what you think. How is it over in your country? I don't know nothing about your country, man, except for the fact that it has one of the coolest people in the chat, who I'm grateful that you are a part of the show. David Martin, hey, buddy, how are you, man? Free falling. I think none of them are on our side. I agree. It's an interesting thing. Christopher Butt says Fox News is one step closer. Okay, so I'll say, you know what? He says it's one step closer to fair journalism. I guess I tend to lean that way. So it's a possibility. Because I definitely enjoy watching Fox more, even though I know they're all full of it. But Tucker, I like Tucker. I love when he gets into his little things and he does his little goofy laugh, right? I did not like the way he handled this. He should be ashamed of himself. And he shouldn't be making light of what he did. Because what he did was he showed that, the instant somebody, because they're angry on behalf of a majority of the planet, gets a little hoity-toity, gets a little egotistical and kind of, puts the elbows to him. He should have heard him out. Tucker should have been a bigger man. But, he's young. What is he? I think he's younger than me, so he's got to be young, right? The host then directed the conversation back to tax avoidance, and what happens? A verbal sparring match ends up happening. Fox doesn't even play where you are, Carlson retorted, which led Bregman to ask the host if he's ever heard of the internet. That was funny. I can watch all things wherever I want, he says, chuckling, because, of course, it was kind of a stupid thing to say. The sparring continued, and then Bregman said, you jumped the bandwagon. You're all alike. You all pretend now, oh, I'm against the globalists. That's what I am. It's me. Yes, I am on the side of the people. I am against the globalists. It's kind of a goof. I mean, I hate to say it, the dude's, he's got a point. Murdoch, these are some powerful people. Oh, my boys were just telling me, owner of a major football team caught with a prostitute, owns like a huge football team. You could tell Jacob's into theater because he was sick. He never got into sport. And I can tell you about what's going on at the Oscars. I don't even know what football team or who the coach is or the owner. He's not a coach. Caught with prostitution. That's maybe the day we're in is a day when things like this are going to be exposed a little more. So with the comment about him being, oh yeah, you're all against the globalists, Carlson just lost it. I want to say to you, why don't you go F yourself, you tiny brain, the host said. I hope this, and that's where the, oh no, what did I just say? What did I just say? I just said go F yourself, you tiny brained, you little, right? I'm going to emasculate you. You're not smart. I only had you on here because what you said at Davos was, people were so we have to find a way to control it. We got to find a way to make it look like, yeah, we're right for you, but then nothing will happen. Netflix is paying nothing. Amazon's paying nothing. Google's paying. They're paying nothing. Donald Trump said before he was elected, that makes me smart. That makes me smart. That I don't pay tax. It makes me smart. It makes the people that are in control corrupt. Because we're not on top. We weren't born into it like a lot of these guys were, right? We weren't born into it. So we weren't starting off with all these incentives, which just got a lot huger. And nobody's saying nothing. Tucker's pretending he's a man of the people, having this guy. He didn't have this guy on because the guy has a point. I want to say, why don't you go F yourself, you tiny brain? I hope this gets picked up because you're a moron. I tried to give you a hearing, but you were too effing annoying. You were too annoying. He got you. Too much is on the line for people like Tucker Carlson to be acting like that. He's supposed to be a professional. He's been doing this long enough. Control the situation. What are you telling me? You can't handle a guy who's giving you a couple of jabs? You can't. You're a smart guy, Tucker. So the way he responded, it's insulting. It's insulting. Let me bring this up to you, okay? It's insulting because the Twitter war begins. Okay, so in a statement emailed to the Washington Post, Justin Wells, senior executive producer of Tucker Carlson Tonight, said Bregman turned an opportunity to have a substantive, informative discussion into an obviously calculated personal insult campaign. He has a point. He has a point. I got to be fair and balanced. He has a point. I watched it, and I saw the dude jabbing him, smiling, smirking. All right, little Duper's Delight. You know Duper's Delight, right? He's like, Tucker's taking the bait. He's going to take the bait. Oh, he's not taking the bait? Let me say something a little more insulting. Let me continue to provoke him. Let me tell you. And Tucker, he has a little bit of a temper. He's got a little bit of a, I think he just blew up on somebody at Rutgers, just like within the last 24 hours, I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. I'm not a news resource. I'm a YouTuber talking to you out of a small little office in my beautiful bedroom. My beautiful bedroom. We're disappointed in the segment and respect our audience's time too much to consider airing it. Well said. Why? It would get you ratings. And it's gonna, you know what? If enough people share a video like this, if enough people talk about it, maybe they'll have to share it. And maybe then the real questions can be asked. I turn on Fox News and it is 100% propaganda. I turn on CNN and it is 100% propaganda. I'm tired of the divide. The great divide. Can't you see it? Are you going to snap out of it? So many of you are still in the system, saying you're a truther, saying you're here to expose the truth, and you're sticking up and defending multimillionaires working for billionaires and billionaires, right, becoming trillionaires off of our backs. Our backs. We're the ones that are working 2 jobs, 3 jobs. We're the ones that aren't seeing our families. We're the ones that are having our wages cut time and time and time again. Jacob, he had his wages in Scripture 10 times Laban, the sheep shearer, right? The religious system, the political system, the social economic system, the political system, the government, whatever you want to call Laban. The sheep shearer makes money off the flock, doesn't feed the flock, doesn't take care of the flock, changes wages 10 times. How many times your wages been changed? Are you tired of that? I haven't had a raise. If it wasn't for YouTube, and that's why I'm grateful for it, and I don't ask enough for, support. I don't ask at all, really, for support on Patreon. Thank you if you decide to do that. But I have another job, and that's why I do it. So I don't have to, because I don't want to ask anything of you. If I need it, I will ask. But if you have it and you want to support, there's a link. Go to the link. You can do it on PayPal. You can do it on Patreon. And I'm grateful for it. I'd like to be more involved over there. And when it actually can help me stop working my other job, I'm going to be a lot more involved. All right, let's go over here. On Twitter, Bregman said there was only one thing he regretted not doing in the interview, and that was quoting Noam Chomsky, who is, if you know anything about Chomsky, just go watch some of the stuff he says. Some of the stuff is really worth it. Other stuff, not so much. But a majority of what he says about the system and the way it is. 3 years ago, when he was asked a similar question, Chomsky replied, "I'm sure you believe everything you're saying. But what I'm saying is that if you believe something different, you wouldn't be sitting where you're sitting." It's true. You may believe that you're not, that you're really here, but if you believe something different, if you believe what we are saying matters, if you believed that Amazon and Netflix and all of these billionaires should be held accountable and that they should pay their fair share and that the ones that are working for less should be paid more, you wouldn't be sitting there, Tucker. You know that, dude. And I miss your bow tie. I miss your bow tie. I don't know why you got rid of the bow tie. The bow tie was a cool little thing. So a Twitter war transpired. And I don't even want to play. Like I said, I don't want to even play Tucker because I don't want to have this video hit. You can watch his response, which he said, "And I used a Dutch term that was very appropriate." It's like, but you can't say it on TV. He doesn't say, you know what? I'm a grown man with a family who should show the world, because you know what? I'm pretty taken care of. I should show the world that it's important to be respectful of others, even if you disagree with them, even if they're coming against you. I've had a lot of people. Now, when I worked in TV, I never wanted to have an assistant. They'd always hire me an assistant. I said, "You're not going to be my assistant." I said, "I'm going to train you up. I'm going to train you up." Floor director. I'd have like a PA yelling at me because I'd mess up a shot that I was actually directing. Yell at me because everybody knew that I wasn't their boss. We were all in this together. We were all creating together. And I remember this one time, especially when I was working at Daystar, actually, and I was doing a show called Joni, the Joni Show. And the floor director, I'd walked in and I blew a shot. He says, you blew it, you messed up everything, like right in front of everybody. And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." That's the way I reacted. I was the boss. And I walked off set. I let the floor director take over. And I went to him later. And his mother was in the hospital and was about to die. And he was told, not by me, that he had to come into work, right? Sometimes people lose it, and there's something else, especially if you don't do anything really to provoke them. Yeah, that's why it's so important not to lose it in return. Even when people are being cruel to you. Jesus kind of said it very perfectly. If somebody slaps you, give them the other side. What are they going to do? Going to hit you again? They ask for, they take something from you, give them something else. What do you need more? The world is not going to change if you're like those that have ruined the world. The only way things are going to change here is if we operate within the confines of this matrix, this structure, this system. And we can. But we love. But we also speak the truth. And we ask for it, no matter what the cost. And the truth is, right now, things are unfair for a good deal of us. And people like Tucker Carlson, who shared a drink with me. Hey, who won't remember? Of course he won't remember. It'd be 10 years ago because it was my 20th high school reunion. I'm about to go to my 30th. Idealistic, excited. You effing pea brain, you tiny brain moron. I hope this is picked up because I want everybody to see me demoralize you. Once again, that being said, Bregman, he did kind of egg him on. But this is something that I think a lot of us need to pay attention to. Because the day that we're in is, it's not going to stay like this. I want you to understand that. It's not going to stay like this forever. The people that are wrong, the people that are corrupt, the people that are stealing from you and me, things about to change. I firmly believe that this little thing, especially if videos like this get some traction, so do your part. Do your part if you're working your second job. It helps me too. Yeah, believe me, I want the video to go viral because you know what? It would be nice to be able to pay off some debt and get ready to pay those taxes, right? And it would be great to have the advertisers that are always pulling this and pulling that, right? Adpocalypse number 2 we're supposedly going into. Break. If enough people talk about stuff like this, if enough people make a stink about this, if enough people would stop fighting over, this thing or that thing that the media, fake news, Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, whatever, Morning Joe, all baloney. They're telling you what to fight over. And right now, what do you got? You got Jussie Smollett, right? Faking being attacked. 2 o'clock in the morning at a subway. Guys just happen to have bleach on them and a rope on them and masks on them and just happen to know. I mean, it was like from the beginning, it was like, dude, how silly do you have to be to think that would be literally happening? This is MAGA country, right? And yet the news was quick to pick it up. So much so that they had to ask Trump, what do you think about this? What do you think? He's like, it's terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible if it's real. How many of these things are wrong? And now he's going to go to jail and they're going to make an example out of him. The guy made a big mistake. But once again, it's a focal point. It's a talking piece. It's another way to get the bases riled up against the bases. Now we got Bernie running again. Right? That's the big news. I thought he was Democratic Party, right? How corrupt. But if enough people talk about this, if enough people are like, I'm tired of the fact that, all I do is spend more and more money on Amazon and they're not paying nothing and they're getting thousands of dollars back and millions of dollars back in rebates. Actually reported 129 million 2018 federal income tax rebate, making its tax rate 1%. Give me a break. Netflix, no tax. Big rebate. Are you tired? Are you tired in the chat? Come on over here and let's see. But before I do, I want to play this for those who are new and did not catch this interview. I want to play this.
Davos, and I find it quite a bewildering experience, to be honest. I mean, 1,500 private jets have flown in here to hear Sir David Attenborough speak about, how we're wrecking the planet. And I hear people talk in the language of participation and justice and equality and transparency. But then, almost no one raises the real issue of tax avoidance, right? And of the rich just not paying their fair share. It feels like I'm at a firefighters conference and no one's allowed to speak about water. I mean, this is not rocket science. I mean, we can talk for a very long time about all these stupid philanthropy schemes. We can invite Bono once more, but come on, we gotta be talking about taxes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, taxes, taxes, taxes. All the rest is bullshit, in my opinion.
I actually came.
So now this guy right here, this gets me angry because you know what? He comes on here, he's like, let's make a difference. Let's forget about the taxes. And the fact that if they paid, did you imagine we would barely have to pay tax if they paid? Do you have any idea how wealthy? Do you have how many schools? My wife works in Brentwood. You want to talk about taxes? My wife works in Brentwood, and we spend thousands of dollars on these poor kids who have nothing. We got to get them their books. We got to get them their pens, their pencils, their glue, their sticks, their that. And my wife, who's like teacher of the not just the year, but the decade. She's amazing. She was just honored in Brentwood, 20 years of service. English second learner classroom. These kids have so much against them, and she's busting her butt, and we're spending our money. And guess what? This year, we weren't supposed to be allowed to write off any of that. The new tax plan got rid of that for teachers, for police officers, for firefighters, for the people that are working the hardest. Government was shut down for how long? People weren't working. Nobody's getting angry. We're getting angry over these issues. And then here this boob, excuse me, I shouldn't say that. This guy, Ken Goldman, comes up and says this, and then good old Winnie.
I do believe we have an issue here. But I have to say, honestly, this is a very one-sided panel. You know, frankly, what people really want is the dignity of a job. I like for the panel.
The dignity of a job. My wages have been changed I don't know how many times. The dignity of a job. Work more hours. Go to those meetings every other week. Right? Now we're going to have meetings every week. Yeah, you don't get paid for them, though. You know, we're going to have a rah-rah session, not on the clock. You better be here. Just ridiculous. Dignity of a job. Listen to the kind of dignity that's going on in the United States.
Jobs, but the quality of those jobs. With poultry workers in the richest country in the world, the United States. Dolores, one woman we work with there, told us that she and her co-workers have to wear diapers to work because they are not allowed toilet breaks. This is in the richest country in the world. So don't tell me about low levels of unemployment. You are counting the wrong things. You're not counting dignity of people. You're counting exploited people.
I want to.
This is something else. Let me get rid of this for a second. I think it's a sad day when I got to come on here at this hour because I feel like, you know, I have this channel and I feel like I have a responsibility to do things to make this world a better place. But on the flip side of the coin, who am I, right? I'm just this dude who has faith in more and believes that love can change the world. Right? That's me. But really, what can I do? I mean, really, in the grand scheme of things, what can any of us do? When we have companies like this who are in charge, when you got people, managers, district managers, area managers, vice presidents, every single level, right? Because that's the way the pyramid goes. Every single level, more, right? Just gets more and more corrupt as you go. More controlling, more consolidation and control, all the way down to the bottom. And the best way to control people is to keep them scared. That's why Dolores, as Winnie talked about, was wearing diapers. Got to be productive. You ever see people working at that factory with the boxes in Amazon? You want to do that all day long? Get your break, 20 minutes, but it takes you probably 15 minutes to go outside, especially if you want to have a smoke. I'm not endorsed to smoke, and I don't smoke. I quit. It's bad for you. You shouldn't do it. So what can we do? You know what we can do? We can make our voices heard. We can say something. We can make a difference in the world. And we can start within our own home. We can start by taking control of our finances. We can start by not paying for things that are outside of our means. We can stop letting the computer algorithms that are in your phone and on your computer and stop watching the hypnotic screen tell you what to buy, how to act, how to think. You start to think. It's tax time. Maybe you don't go and buy those $300 sneakers, right? I'm always thinking about the $300 sneakers because we got Ethan a pair of sneakers today. Got to pay Stephen Curry's $40. It was like an insane buy. He's fascinated with basketball and he wants to do his channel again. So if you don't know anything about his little YouTube channel, so soon he'll be doing that. Because I think that I watched this documentary on Fred Rogers, which is a Mandela effect, by the way. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Not this neighborhood. But I believe that here on YouTube, you don't have a lot of channels. You don't have a lot of channels that are thinking about how they can make things better, besides getting you ready for when the poop hits the fan, keeping you scared. But when you're scared, you wear diapers to work. When you're scared, you don't speak up. I spoke up at a meeting, a big one. I spoke up at a lot of meetings. I spoke up, and you should speak up. Because as long as you're operating within the confines of the system, and as long as you are doing it the right way, and as long as you are in your right correct in what you say, and you keep it free from profanity and a bunch of other nonsense that Tucker Carlson likes to throw. As long as you talk to people that may treat you indignant, but you treat them with the same amount of pride and love that you would give someone who did treat you the same way, that made you feel good about yourself. You treat them better than they treat you, and guess what? You can change things. And I think that today's a day where people need to change things. And I hope this show helped change your mind about taxes this year. Get ready. Get an accountant. Do what you got to do, right? Don't let this system keep you in chains anymore. And do me a favor and share the video around. Because, hey, look, no one's going to talk about it if no one's talking about it. And I don't have to worry about Rupert Murdoch telling me no. And I don't got to worry about YouTube censoring me. You know why? Because I don't break the rules. I operate in the confines of the rules. And perhaps so should you. Perhaps we all should get on the bandwagon and start living for more. Perhaps in the chat you can tell me what you think. I'm going to come on over there right now. Give me a second to transfer over. And then I'm going to get out of here. Oh, Jay Christopher is here. I see. What's going on? Jay, you should call me, Jay. You know I would put you on the air. Got to check out his channel. If not, pony up like the video guys. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Sharon Hip, thank you very much. Boom, getting it started. Kitty meow, another $5. Thank you. Feel like it's my lucky day. You know, tonight I dropped my daughter Shiloh off at hang on a second. I dropped my daughter Shiloh off at where was she going to? Her? She had like a Sweet 16. She has a Sweet 16 coming, and I'm like, I want to do something big for her, right? But she doesn't want it because she's the Shiloh. She's a good girl, you know. I guess because she's raised here, she didn't want to make things hard for us. But we love her, and she's so good. She's on a roll and everything else. But so I dropped her off, and what did I pass? Jake's 58. It's a one of those online casinos. I'm gonna put on my favorite music on the way out. And so let me lower this down a little bit. So I'm driving there, and man, I gotta tell you, every single spot at that casino off of exit 58 there in on the LIE. Taken. Everybody lining up to give another huge corporation their money